The 23rd of March, Pluto made its first entrance into Aquarius in what is going to be a generational shift of energy. For the next 20 years, Pluto will be an air sign Aquarius that's full of futuristic thinking, technology, brilliance, upheaval, revolution. So let's have a look at what this generational shift might be bringing. First one, Princess of Wands. We'll just leave that one out. Oh, another one. Strength card, actually. I'll start doing them like this. What might Pluto bring to humanity over the next 20 years? That's the Nine of Wands. We're going to not have enough room. The Sun, Prince of Cups. I'll have to do it this way. The Wheel, Wheel of Fortune. The Hierophant, the Chariot, and King of Cups. That's a lot of water for an air sign. Central card, so the most significant energy, Prince of Cups. This is the same as the Knight of Cups in other decks. Central energy, the Knight of Cups, we've been given an offer. There's a gift in this transit, and it's up to us to be able to deliver it with sincerity, with gallantry, and with decency. Hopefully this means there's a worldwide shift towards kindness and sharing and compassion. That's not necessarily right up Aquarius's alley, because Aquarius is about equality and decentralization. But it's not necessarily empathic and emotional. It more uses equality because it's logical. So I think that's really interesting. The central energy we're going to do is what we can do for others. Offering connections, offering partnerships, offering collaboration. In Cups, this may less be around traditional trade pacts and trade agreements. This might be more about forming deeper connections where there's new partnerships created around a common need. Because this is water element, it does have that feeling of flow and things spreading. But our Knight is holding the gift in a contained area, although it reaches out to all over the globe. The cards that leapt out first was the Princess of Wands and the Strength card. And I'm going to link them together. Princess of Wands is the same as the Page of Wands, and it's looking at new technologies, new energy forms. Coupled with the Strength card, there's a real balance of power that has to be juggled around this new energy and new energy forms. I love this card. Look at the way she rises up through different levels, different dimensions to reach this higher source. Her arms are in the position of welcoming the sun. And around her hips, she's got these strange glyphs. If you kind of blur your eyes and look at this card, these two green parts look like big eyes with eyebrows and everything above reaching up, enlightenment. So in this read, the Princess of Wands is saying we're at that fledgling stage of looking up and opening ourselves, particularly to fire energy, to solar, to the sun, but also through many dimensions, many frequencies. It looks like we'll be harnessing and accessing new frequency waves and new forms of energy. The Strength card there is balancing this new open access and the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is the battle-weary, jaded, cynical, worn-out warrior. It's also about defenses. And you can see what's coming into this guy, a big black blob. It feels like a threat to the frequencies and the waves and the atmosphere that the Princess of Wands is holding. So that's our balance. How to have protection, how to not become jaded, and how to balance that with all this possibility that's coming through. So what I see here is things like cyber attack, the amount of information and data going out into the universe, even trips into space, and what the effect on the environment and leaving ourselves open and vulnerable that will do. It looks like that will be a constant battle. This line down here, the sun is underneath that Princess of Wands and the Hierophant sits at the bottom. The Hierophant is the laws and regulation, getting the balance right and forming the right policies, the right education to deal with this matter. The openness that the Princess of Wands is bringing underneath the sun, really, really firing it. There's a lot of exposure, there's a lot of energy, very, very particular. If we look at this line, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, almost mimicking this image to see that we make the right choices. The impact of these government regulations around these new energy forms and new frequencies is what might open up these new pacts and new agreements, new relationships that are also somehow decentralized and held contained. I feel like this is around breakaway territories, not just to do with how we're dealing with technology and AI and those things that are kind of already out of the box, but the way territories are formed, there'll be more fluidity around borders, and that may have consequence when those defences are weakened. This line here, from the Princess of Wands to our central card, Prince of Cups, which is the Knight, and the King of Cups down the bottom, that shows actually a lot of promise that over the next 20 years we will grow and develop. It's got the natural page, Knight, King line, moving from fire to clearer contained offerings to the King of Cups, which is the protective, benevolent, masculine energy with a strong feminine bent. It's a really good balance of this feminine and masculine. The King of Cups is socially democratic. He takes care of those more vulnerable and does that through support and nourishment rather than through hard lines and hard borders and hard regulation. In fact, there's nothing on this that shows hard regulation, just a real balance that we have to get between opening ourselves up to things we don't know about and then having to defend ourselves from attack. This line down here, which is Knight of Wands and then the Wheel of Fortune, ending on the King of Cups, it shows this defense, this attack, this weariness of battle, this kind of paranoia will play out over this 20 years and eventually come to a place where there's agreement, where the strength comes through diplomacy and relationship rather than the Pluto in Capricorn stuff, which was about historical empires and very clear borders and power. It's a big relief that this King of Cups is the final card here. Though this line we want to look at government regulations through the Hierophant, and then the Chariot, which is the card of conflict, bridging these two spaces. There probably hasn't ever been a Pluto generation without war in it. This line looks like we start off trying to balance those opposing forces, but the Prince of Cups and the King of Cups show that there's new relationships. The old way is gone, and the Chariot moves this conflict into a more direct and aggressive way. In short, what I'm trying to say is we start off balancing things and realising we've let the cat out of the bag, but with the Wheel of Fortune simmering historical tensions, the Chariot will inevitably start to move and create more direct conflict as a result of this power imbalance or this power struggle. What I'm getting from this is that the next 20 years will show us how to manage a whole new arena, flavoured by new agreements, new borders, new relationships that shape the geography that we know. These new relationships and new physical boundaries actually extend over time and space. So we're looking at the way we share and claim and contain this massive new playground. It also looks from this There is an inevitable conflict around who gets what and how they get it. And one thing with Pluto and Aquarius, you could expect there's an uprisings where there's inequality, where there isn't independence, where there's been oppression. It's also exposure that comes through historical events. And I could see in this that the further reshaping of the superpowers, the way China and Russia are linking up together and parts of the West are falling apart. There's no air cards in this reading and there's no pentacles. So our Pluto in Capricorn experience of breaking down the structures of finance and commerce, none of that is being reflected here. And I find it really interesting, no swords. So there's no card representing Aquarius as an air sign. All the cards here are major arcana, except for 2 water and 2 fire. And perhaps that links in that the new energy forms that are coming are not just solar, they're also water. So I love that King of Cups down the bottom because it does feel like there is some achievement of those goals, levelling out inequality. Just looking at the bottom of the pack, we've got the Queen of Cups. Look at that. Prince, King, Queen of Cups. Underneath it is the birth of a whole new beginning. The way we relate to each other and our relationship to the world around us is the most significant transformation that will come through Pluto and Aquarius. That's awesome. I'm Meryl Key and this is my Mystery School. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments and subscribes. Find me on Instagram at my_mystery school or on my website www.merylkey.com. Thanks for watching.